back to the Empire's Recap, Week 1, by me, your host, Recap1, who also wrote and edited this video. Let's get into the recap. Joey starts out on his ship, fighting against the skeletons, where he's blown off by cannons, falling into the ocean, left out to die. Only he doesn't die, and he is washed up instead. Having no place to go to anymore, he aims to find his own. He finds a big area which will help him to grow, a problem with his previous empire. While still in the end with the missing dragon, he hears of ships being there, so stays with Sausage and Pixel going busting. He can't leave his crew behind, of course, but what is there waiting for him is a ghost ship, which you should be careful around. Unfortunately, his crew is not able to be seen on the ship, but he was able to get an elytra before ever going mining. To actively use these wings, however, he trades 3 healing potions for rockets by Whip. He finally is able to get Spruce so he can build his ship. This week, Gem's mission is to build a barn for her animals, as they currently are the only subjects to her empire. This promptly is what she does, then adding a pathway to it and the animals. For profit, one of her subjects' honeycomb will be sold. So her honeycomb farm can be automated. She would need resources, so she goes through the brave man himself, the sheriff, to go mining with her. Unfortunately for them, the sheriff sets off a shrieker in the deep dark, causing a warden to spawn, meaning for them to panic and escape. The worst mining trip ever. Instead of going to the Nether for quartz, she trades 64 honeycomb for 16 pieces of quartz. A good deal indeed. More deals happen again, this time with Pixel Rift. Honeycomb for 64 string in a bundle. Finally, she's able to build the automatic honeycomb farm, which she fortunately has it to work. Ending off with showing off cool fan art of her empire's character. What happened when throwing the apple into the fountain was lore. Obviously, having a fountain and the land around it being lifted. The sign on it, always watching, is totally not ominous at all. Now we shall skip through all the 8 hours it took to build, as it is not interesting enough. But what is interesting though is the first resident, a zombie villager. This also comes with a treat for all puns, am I right? Lanterns are then added, all for the island for now. So what he does is travels to Jimmy with a pig to make a joke. Finest ham, great gammon. That took travelling thousands of blocks and abandoning a pig. What wasn't forgotten, however, was his wings, who were named 11 foot of pure muscle. Sausage is also able to acquire a llama BFF like Scott. Hashtag potential llama besties. However, Endermen aren't friends and killed him doing end busting. Fortunately, Pixel picked it all up and put it in a grave. He will later be greatly rewarded. On the meanwhile, he tries to convince villagers in the not so nearby village to come to his empire, willingly being taken and introduced to it. After only 330 times, he's able to get the villagers to give him mending and unbreaking books to trade, where emeralds are needed. So he gets 2 Fletchers. Why is he doing this though? It is for his elytra. Well, for one of the 6. For now anyway. Fortunately, they are given a house, so don't worry about them getting out, anything like that. Before his villagers get one, he gets a child of his own, left at the doorstep of his empire. Who left that there, I wonder? But what we do know is that Pixel Rift got his reward, which was 3 stacks of bamboo, an elytra, and a diamond sword, which is highly appreciated by Pixel Rifts. Fortunately, the villagers are now reproducing, having a jungle baby. Next up, there is a plan to go to the Nether. Pixel Rift's plan is to get an XP farm. Fortunately, he found a triple spider spawner last episode in an abandoned mine shaft. This time, he wants to experiment with sculk sensors. An ambitious project indeed. The sculk he's testing on though has unknown origins. How or who made it? And why? Or nature strains it, having most be driven away from its presence, but those who do dare approach it become stronger beyond their wildest dreams, which be proven by him being able to get fully enchanted diamond armor with it alone, even if it was 1 XP per sculk mine. Despite having all of this, he still doesn't have a starter home, which was promised at the start of the episode. As he apparently needs so many blocks, it becomes a variety. Besides the complicated to explain sculk farm, Pixel would also have a glow lichen and basalt farms. Wood still has not been automated, so is collected by hands, all besides warped and mangrove with only a little acacia. Having a sculk squeaker, he uses this to scare others, particularly Jimmy, under his wagon as he was live streaming. At least he's not that bad, as he would give him a gift for his worries. Whip has also found spawners this episode, 2 skeleton spawners while in close proximity, so he dropped all of his plans for the episode to make the skeleton farm. Unlike Pixel Riffs, he aims to make a profit off of this, a first goblin business. And by doing this, he aims to get shiny stuff, which will get other members of the server, getting passes from shiny stuff. So people can easily access the farm, he builds an entrance to it, specifically near Joe and Lizzie. Customers, who will be perfectly charmed from his amazing archaeology skills that they will be willing to buy a pass for with all they have. So people would actually give him the shinies. A security system isn't put in place. You can't get bones for free besides your own, and well, XP I guess. At last he got bait. A dear customer Lizzie to try out for a pass, but she unfortunately dies on a tour around the Empire. Not going well this sales pitch. Once shown and experienced the farm, he expects some shiny good, but she only has an egg, which can become shiny if clean enough, but this isn't really worth much. To make sure he gets sales, he makes the passes limited edition, making people want to get in the fear of FOMO. Despite these practices, he wants to be liked by everyone. A first tunnels dog, which will then be used to create a system of them, easily access people's spaces without having to use an elytra. Where animals are going is Lizzie's Empire, who went there with their own wheels, setting up tents there, whose all tents matched hers. Not awfully suspicious at all. But if they escape their tents, however, apprehended they should be immediately. Whoops, I meant turned home safely. Having only an egg to provide for Whip, she goes out to find a geode, which will be used to sell crystals to other empires as well, so a crystal farm needs to be built for it to be sustainable. For animals who stay willingly can't express their concerns on her incompetence as mayor, but what can they do and what do they know? Sophie Amethyst can be transported. She builds a railway to the surface, then to customers on the surface with a donkey, then a llama promoted to Minister of Transport. An entire chest of amethyst shards is enough for Whip to give her a pass. It was only until she got the pass where she realised this may have been a scam, as why does she need bones anyway? As Whip's bone supply multiplies by the second, so did Catherine's cat somehow. Despite all this, she wants all of her animals to be safe, so she builds them a barn and a farm to go with it. But to carry on, she needs a sidekick, a fairy, just like the story her father used to read her when she was young, which still has. It would be about a witch who was able to disguise herself to get into the fairies' kingdom, then taking everything from them, and the fairies as prisoners, guarded by her minions, the pillagers. And she wants to be the brave hero to set them free. With help by Whip, she is able to find an outpost. And when the light turns to night, we rid the world of fright. Insert epic transformation sequence here. After transforming, she's able to find the fairies while also fighting pillagers, and to make sure that the fairies are safe and secure, she builds them a house of their own, slim but tall so that they can fly. Joe returns with his second episode, ready for adventure, and the theme of his empire will be just like Peter Pan, while still having a pirate theme to it. A mysterious sign returns to him, as well as the skeletons are watching. Show them your booty, I guess. But to the warden though, the warden can't see it. So much so, he would die, even if it would be his first. But what is the first of this season is him trying custom wings. He had 3 and chose the one that looks like bones, as they are the ones of his enemies. But it won't be the proper wings, these are just temporary. What wasn't temporary, however, was the obsidian that he got from a ruined portal underwater next to a temple, which he didn't notice. This was to create an enchanting table, which is then put at the lower deck of his ship, also temporary. Hopefully his deck won't be temporary, right? Oh, it's going to become a port? Oh, I guess this is a repeating thing. To slay the bones of his enemies, he goes to Whip and gets a pass. This is for a diamond pickaxe. This would have been one of the things he would have wanted to enchant. Same with an elytra, which can't be enchanted through a table, only through books. He will make something next episode, but as I can't read my own handwriting, none of us will know what it is. Returning, coming back with a third episode, first of this season, Sausage's population has been growing, and elytra has been named. It has been named El Valador, which in English translation means the flying one. Yet this dude still isn't ready to find his friends yet. Hopefully they aren't dead when he finds them. Now knowing Joel put the child there, he now co-parents it with him, leaving it at the fountain with a gold block. But flowers though, good memories of them in youth. Besides that, as well as people, he needs to take care of animals as well, so later builds a barn of your dreams. Also very colourful, animals inside with a sheep security in case of escapees. Whip comes comes along for face-to-face marketing again, but this time not for his skeleton farm, but for copper blocks. For the blocks, he wants 9 million books, a deal accepted. More trading happens with Jimmy, Sausage giving oak saplings, a diamond pickaxe, 2 apples, and the box it came in. In exchange, he gets the name tag and 64 laps. This is what you get for having an alliance with the Sanctuary. Could become popular with these deals. He loves this, as it was his actual first wood trade, instead of just giving it. Still, he plans on a potential water wheel and a sawmill. Hey, that rhymes. Scott's export would be out of dyes and colours, which, from what we know, isn't exactly surprising. Learn from finding a skeleton spawner, which will be useful for it later. Using those colours, he builds a barn, which has been dumbed down, tweaked as Brain No Thinky. Design is by Blue Nerd Minecraft. After getting all of the animals in the barn, he hoes the land and plant wheat seeds. Yet 6 stacks of seeds can't even get halfway through the field. From his previous first episodes, he finds a llama, who he loves for lore reasons. However though, they have the luxury of being outside without the barn animals. This llama would also need a friend for friend things, you know? And those friend stuff made him discover that llamas can actually breed. Afterwards, they are decorated in the carpets of his main colours of his empire: magenta, cyan, and the yellow. To go with his game look, IRL, Jimmy bought a chef hat. He had to, of course. But of course, he doesn't know the dictionary definition of bribery, being bribed a whip with bone meal. He knows where he will be building this season, in the bowl, and his name of his empire has been decided to be called Tumbletown. Simple but sweet. His star house design is that from Sausage, but his first life is aimed to be the longest, which unfortunately doesn't last that long, dying to a creeper in a cave protecting Gem. That was totally not the real sheriff there, and not made any better by having to run for their lives from a warden. Another person is added to the board of people he respects and respects him, as Gem follows and respects their law. Fitting to his theme, the new board has a cowboy hat, worst ever somehow. Just doesn't look that bad, to be honest. More stuff is to be done for the next episode, like his house having an interior, moving his stuff in, and getting Coco to be able to get brown stained glass panes for windows. Thank you for watching this week's recap of Empires Season 2, Week 1. Like and subscribe so you can get notified of my next video. Goodbye.